Hello, my name is Chef Mark Seibert from Lackawanna College's Culinary Arts program. Today I'm going to show you the process of fabricating a chicken. This is the process that we teach here at the college and the method that the students are required to learn and know for the practical exams towards the end of their 2 years here. We're going to be fabricating a 3.5 pound roaster, and we're going to break it down into what's called an airline breast. We'll also take one of those breasts and turn it into what's called a supreme. We're going to take the leg segments out, and we'll show you how to cut into quarters, and we'll also segment the thigh and the leg separation, and we will reserve all of the bones and keep them for stocks or sauces that we may make in the future. A nice sharp knife, obviously, a boning knife is the proper knife to use for this. We're going to start to try to get our airline breast out. So the first part we want to do is just to make sure that we're checking for any excess fat that may be on there, and we'll put that in our trim container. We always want to have 2 containers, one for our usable product, one for our bones and good trim, and one for scrap trim. Okay? So first thing we want to do, we want to take our knife in our right hand, or left hand if you are left-handed, and we want to grasp the wing bone as close to the muscle that would be on a human being would be actually your shoulder. So we want to pick that up and we want to hold it. We want to be able to hold the chicken in between our thumb and the knife so that it's nice and stable. And with the bone there on the chicken, you're not going to cut yourself. So that's the biggest fear that most students have when we're doing this. So then it's very simple. It's almost like winding a clock. Okay, we just make a simple rotation. Okay, so come all around until we know that there's all the meat is separated from the wing bone. And then once we get that done, it's a very quick snap and pull, okay, to remove the wing bone. And then we have our airline breast that's ready to go. We'll trim that up a little bit. And there's another thing that we like to do here at the college is just take a little bit tip off of the bone, just to, when we do cook this, it will release some of the blood that may be in the bone out. You don't want to cut too far down on the bone because we never want chicken to fragment and get into any of the food and have a contaminant that would have either our students or in a restaurant our customers eat. So then we're going to do the other wing bone again. Same thing, spin the chicken, put the chicken down, and again, it's that quick snap to remove that bone. So that is the chicken breast with the wing bone on, and that process will continue right here. We're going to take our boning knife and we're going to come right down the spine of the chicken, well actually the breastbone of the chicken, the spine's on the other side, okay, and gently just cut the skin, okay, so you can see where the keel bone is going to run up the chicken and the breastbone. And then gently we're going to follow down one side of it with nice even pressure along that keel bone, keeping that knife as close to the bones as possible. Now up front here is where the wishbone would be, okay, or basically in human beings that would be your collarbone, okay. So we're going to basically gently follow that wishbone down with the tip of the knife. Okay, so the wishbone is right in here. So if you follow that, you don't want to cut the wishbone because that's a difficult process to remove. So again, gently with the tip of the knife, just follow the carcass of the chicken. Okay, and then this here was a little tendon. Once you snip that tendon, you're pretty much clear to have the chicken breast come off the carcass. You want to try to achieve a nice clean carcass, not a lot of meat left on the bone. That's usable product that we don't want to waste. And here, this is where the wing bone meets the carcass right in here. So we're going to take our boning knife and just cut around that. And that's going to leave the wing bone intact. We're going to trim this skin here. leaving as much excess as possible. I'll explain the reason for that in 1 minute. So here, this is our first airline breast. Okay, so now with that little bit of extra skin that I have, I'm going to get good coverage on this, and this is going to get a good presentation for when we actually cook the product. This is the tenderloin of the chicken, and for our purposes today, we're going to remove that. And you don't really need your knife for that. You can snip in certain areas, but basically that pulls right out. And this can be utilized for any of your chicken strip entrees or breaded chicken fingers if you were running a restaurant for a kids menu or what have you. Okay, so now we're going to turn this airline chicken breast. So we have the one airline chicken breast. We're going to turn the other one into what is called a supreme. So that would be a boneless, skinless chicken breast. Okay, so we're going to very gently and carefully just peel this skin out. Now, if you wanted to still have an airline chicken breast, but needed to take care of some of your customers who were looking to watch their cholesterol or their health reasons, they can't have the extra fat or the skin, then you could leave it here and have a skinless airline breast that is then ready to serve as well. It's very simple to finish this out and do the supreme because we have this joint here, and it's just a matter of cutting around the joint. And this now can be reserved for stock. So that is our supreme. So now we're into the legs. We want to remove the leg and the thigh at the same time, and then we can segment those later. There is a section on the back of the chicken. This is the spine here. There's a section on the back of the chicken right in here where my fingers are. This is what's called the oyster. And this is one of the classic butchering techniques. It's a very tender cut of meat, very flavorful. That if you've ever had a turkey dinner or such at Thanksgiving, this is probably the most flavorful part of the turkey because it sits there and gets self-basted by all of that lovely goodness that is cooking down. So basically what we want to do, we want to take a firm grasp of the chicken, and then we want to pull so that the joints separate, the ball joints separate from the carcass. So you can see here that's separated. Here that's separated there. Okay. And the key to remember in making sure that you get all of the meat off of this is to come from the back of the bird, not from the front. Okay, so we want to start here by the tail, applying some pressure and cutting gently until we get past that joint. Once we get past that joint, we'll make sure that this is free. We want to apply pressure on our knife and then gently pull. And you'll see that this is the oyster, and it's starting to peel right out of that socket joint. So we peel that out, and that comes out nice and clean. And once that oyster is free, we can finish our cut on the skin. Okay? And again, you want to check for any, like with this piece of cartilage that's here, want to trim that out. Okay? We'll trim up some of this here. So this would be a chicken quarter with the leg and the thigh attached. Oyster right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this leg quarter and we'll make this into a leg and thigh section. Okay, so basically it's a ball joint just like a knee or an elbow. You have that flex there. Where that flex is, it's very easy to cut right through. So once you know where that is, you can very simply make the cut so that you have one leg and one thigh. Again, once we find that cartilage, we know that that's an area that's going to be easily cut, and you don't need to go at it with a cleaver or a French knife, something that's a little stronger blade, and we can just cut that. So then we have the carcass. The carcass, our best practices for this is basically to trim here where the rib cage would be, and then snap the back or the spine and just cut through. And this way we have product that can be used to make a stock, used for sauces, and for future use. When you do a chicken this way, you have the wing that's separated. Now this portion of the wing here is usable for such as a buffalo wing or an appetizer or a hors d'oeuvre. Many times these would be the drumettes, okay, that can also be used for chicken wings. But we've taken that out because we want this appearance, because we're going for a center of the plate presentation on this. But again, if you are doing a supreme and you want to cut that, you can reserve the drumette for appetizers or such in your establishment. So this is our complete breakdown of the chicken. We have our airline breast, our supreme, okay, this is boneless, skinless, tenderloins removed, our leg and thigh section that's together, or a quarter, and we also have a thigh and a leg, which would be the same as this, and we have our 2 wings and 2 tenderloins. We have all of our usable trim, okay, from our carcass that can be used for stock, all here, and that is the method that we teach at Lackawanna College for fabricating a chicken. There are many other ways. There's more involved processes within this one, and those are other techniques that you'll learn when you're actually in the classroom here at Lackawanna.